Hello again, classy people, this is Josh the Top Hat Gamer, and this week I'm reviewing Firewatch. Since its reveal last year, Firewatch has intrigued me, but right up until the second I sat down to play it, I had zero idea on what to expect. So is Firewatch a pleasant surprise? Let's take a look. In Firewatch, players take on the role of Henry, a brand new fire lookout assigned to his own tower in Shoshone National Forest. During your time in Shoshone, it's your job to watch out for and prevent forest fires, but not all is as it seems. With barely any human contact aside from another lookout, it's up to Henry to unravel the secrets of the forest. From a narrative standpoint, Firewatch is satisfying for the most part. After a short intro that establishes Henry's personal history and reasons for becoming a fire lookout, you're dropped into the forest to simply watch for fires. As I mentioned, things aren't quite on the level, but for fear of spoiling things, I'll simply say this. I've never felt such tension in a game that isn't a traditional horror game. The loneliness of the forest compounds with the strange events to really put players on edge. Whether the game capitalizes on this tension or not is another question. Personally, I found the ending to be a bit of a letdown, though the events of the game are still worth experiencing, in part due to the fantastic interactions between Henry and the other fire lookout, Delilah. While you'll barely interact with people in person, you're constantly in radio contact with Delilah. To contrast with the eerie loneliness of wandering the woods, you'll regularly chat with Delilah, and without a doubt, these conversations are the best part of the game.
Very careful.
It doesn't seem that dangerous. Whoa, whoa! Oh, no!
Henry!
Seriously, it's completely fine in here.
God damn it.
The casual, laid-back script combined with the perfectly sardonic delivery from Cissy Jones and Rich Sommer helps to create some depth to the characters while endearing them to the players at the same time.
I bless the rains down in Africa!
Alongside the top-notch voice acting, Firewatch features a relaxing ambient soundtrack that is occasionally interwoven with soothing acoustic guitar tracks just to keep things from feeling too samey. Probably the most immediately striking element of Firewatch is its vibrant visuals. The wilderness setting of Shoshone National Forest is refreshing, and the solid colours of the woods and rocky outcroppings give the game a unique visual style. Simply wandering this location is almost as satisfying as actually progressing through the game's plot. However, Firewatch is not without some problems, and if you're playing on the PS4, then the game is prone to massive frame rate drops and crashing, not to mention the weird texture pop-ins that can really pull you out of the experience. When it comes to progressing through Firewatch's plot, there's very little to talk about in terms of gameplay mechanics. In terms of genre, Firewatch is an adventure game that requires you to use your compass and map to traverse the forest and reach various objectives. There's very little active firewatching to do, and you'll find that most of your time with this game is spent collecting different equipment such as axes or ropes to gain access to new areas, or conversing with Delilah over the radio. Chatting with Delilah, as I said, is probably the highlight of the game for me. Whenever she radios in, you get to choose your response, which influences the tone of Henry and Delilah's relationship. Aside from that, there's really not a lot to do in Firewatch, which is fine. It's mechanically basic, but its narrative and dialogue choices are more than engaging enough to keep players interested until the end. It has its fair share of technical issues, at least on PS4, but its unique style and personality is worth experiencing. Firewatch gets the Top Hat Gamer rating of good. The game is short and very simple, but tells an engaging story with characters that are incredibly endearing and a setting full of personality. If you're looking for in-depth gameplay with hours of playtime, you're in the wrong place, but Firewatch knows what it is and does it very well. Pick this up for PC if you can, though the PS4 version holds up well enough if you're stuck for options. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the review informative. If you missed last week's review on XCOM 2, click the annotation. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to go and damage some rowdy teens' property. This'll show 'em.
Hey, that go okay?
It went fine. Hopefully there won't be any more trouble.